Creep night, sure to send a chill down your spine. Welcome to Creep Night. What happens when you can't stop eating? Some people will eat to the point of no return, and some just can't help themselves and need more. In tonight's episode, we will find that one person who just can't stop. Jack liked to see if he could eat anything and everything he could fit in his mouth. It first started with a large honey-smoked ham. He gobbled it down without a second thought. He then moved on from ham to turkeys.
I need more!
Jack shouted at the top of his lungs. He slammed his fists on the wooden table. Janet, his girlfriend, would come racing in with plates full of food.
What are you trying to do, starve me?
No. Jack glared at Janet as he raised the food to his lips and began to eat like a wild pig. Janet left the room. Jack ate and ate, but he never felt full. He grew in size every time he ate a plate full of food.
I need more! I need more!
Jack would scream and scream. It got to the point where Janet needed to hire Jack's sisters to help feed him. They lined up with plates filled with food upon food. The plates became so heavy after racing back and forth for the 20th time.
Where's my food?
Jack screamed impatiently. At this point, he had grown so huge that he couldn't leave the room anymore, and nobody could enter the room either. Janet and Jack's sisters resorted into climbing through a window. Since they had done it so many times now, it became like second nature to them. Assumed that they would just slide the plates of food in his mouth. This, however, proved to be incorrect. Jack opened his mouth wide as the sisters and Janet slid through the window. At first, he only heard one scream, "Ah!" But by the time it was too late, he had eaten Janet and the sisters whole. "What have I done?" he cried with such might after he ate them. He grew even bigger than before, now that he had no one to feed him anything, and this would result in him tricking some viewers on his channel to come to his house. The first viewer to arrive was a young lad who was excited to learn all about how to make videos.
Come through the window,
Jack shouted. At first, the young lad was hesitant, but too excited to be weirded out by the request. He went to the window, unaware that Jack was waiting with his mouth wide open. The lad climbed through the window and slid right into Jack's mouth. After Jack ate the lad, he grew as big as his house, but this did not stop him from eating everything and everyone in sight. It got to the point where he was losing viewers to his channel. Once he had no viewers left, he resorted to eating his own house. He became so fat that he looked like a giant blob. The townspeople became so scared of him that they began to make plots on how to get rid of him.
This has been a very big issue for the last few years now.
We must do something. He is eating everything and everyone in sight. Soon, there will be nobody and nothing left if we allow this to continue.
Yes, I know. This is why we need to make a plan on how to get rid of this monster.
The townspeople and their mayor began to scratch their heads until someone in the group shouted very loudly,
What if we just left this town? Then he will have nothing left nor anyone else to eat.
But why should we have to leave?
He should be the one to go.
The townspeople thought long and hard until they decided to trick Jack into eating something that would knock him out. While Jack was knocked out, they would use a heavy-duty crane and toss him in the ocean. I'll get to baking pies. And while I bake them, I'll add some sleeping pills in them. This should do the trick. They all nodded. The lady went home and began to bake. She added 100 boxes of sleeping pills to the pies. Then she went back up with the townspeople and the mayor. They all began to walk to Jack. Jack, we bought you some pies. Jack looked down at the lady and smiled a wide grin. He snatched up all the pies, stuffing them in his mouth. At first, he wildly glanced at the townspeople, realizing they had done something to the pies. But at this point, it'd been too late. What? Jack fell asleep as he tried to ask them what they had done to the pies. The townspeople hurried to the crane and lifted him up and started to drive to the ocean. With a big splash, Jack was thrown into the ocean. Followed by a gurgle, Jack sank quickly to the ocean floor. After this, people went back to their normal lives, while Jack lay dead on the ocean floor. The town even banned mukbang in fear of any repeats. You know what they say, you are what you eat. Sometimes a dish is best served cold. Have fun swimming with the fishies, Jack. Thank you for listening to Creep Night.